Now, we'll start with a good question where we find the range. Find the range of y is equal to e raised to x ln x into 5 raised to x square plus 2 into x square minus 7x plus 10 the whole upon 2x square minus 11x plus 12. ठीक है, एक काम करो, फाइंड द डोमेन करो पहला. लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द डोमेन. फाइंड द डोमेन. Let's find the domain of the question. Now, we are going to find the domain of every term in an individual manner. सबसे पहले, let's start with the exponential part. Now, when I am talking about exponential, e raised to x, a raised to x, 5 raised to x, any term raised to x, any term. You take any term raised to x, it will never become 0. Let me give an example. Say for example, rather than e raised to x, I'll take an example here. Let's take 2 raised to x. Okay, let's take 2 raised to x. This is equal to y. Okay, so you have x ka values and you have y ka values. What I will do is, I will take 3 negative terms, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1. I'll take 0, I'll take 1, I'll take 2 and I'll take 3. If I substitute x ke jagah as minus 3, this will become 2 raised to minus 3, which is 1 upon 2 cube, which is 1 upon 8, which is not equal to 0. It is 0.0125. So when x is negative, the answer that I get for y is 0.0125, which is in the second quadrant. X negative, y positive, second quadrant. I'll take x ka value as minus 2, so this will become minus 2 square, which is nothing but 1 by 4, which is nothing but 0.25. And yet again, I've got x negative, y positive. This will become 2 raised to minus 1, which is equal to 1 by 2, which is equal to 0.5. This will become 2 raised to 0, which is 1. This will become 2 raised to 1, which is 2. This will become 2 square, which is 4. And this will become 2 cube, which is 8. Now if you check, I have all the coordinates possible. I have all the coordinates possible. Ki my x is minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. And my graph will go like this. This is the graph for 2 raised to x. You take 3 raised to x, 4 raised to x, you take anything raised to x. You take 2 raised to x, 3 raised to x, 4 raised to x, 5 raised to x, take raised to minus x, does not make a difference. My exponential graph in the same way, see, look at this graph. It will touch, but it will touch at minus infinity. It will touch the x as minus infinity and it will touch y at plus infinity. But the whole point is कि I have understood कि ये कभी 0 बनेगा ही नहीं. Y will never become 0. Y will become 0 when x is minus infinity, or minus infinity is a term. So I have understood कि this will never become infinity, this will never become 0. इसका मतलब है take any value of x. I repeat, take any value of x you will always get a value of y. So for exponential, e raised to x, a raised to x, 10 raised to x, 100 raised to x, 5 raised to x, 6 raised to x, take anything raised to x, my domain will always be all real numbers. Let me give you this. इसलिए I took an example. Now if I solve for e raised to x, देखो यहाँ पे e raised to x है. Guys, for e raised to x, the graph for e raised to x is like this. This is the graph for e raised to x. This is the graph for e raised to x. And यहाँ पे when I put x का value as 0, my y का value becomes 1. This is minus infinity here, and this is plus infinity here. तो मुझे ये पता चल गया कि I can take any value of x. So for e raised to x, since I have been repeatedly telling that I can take any value of x, इसका मतलब हो गया है my domain will be all real numbers for e raised to x. So the first thing that I did for e raised to x, my domain for e raised to x is going to be all real numbers, because you take any value of x, as I explained here. If you take e का value is 2.714, 2.714 लेके तुम लोग को solve करना है. Say for example, someone tells me कि plot a graph for y is equal to e raised to x, where e is equal to 2.714. 2.7, चलो इतना भी बड़ा मत करो, चलो 2.7 ले लो. And just for your convenience, take x का value is -3, -2, -1. You will understand कि I can take any value of x. So remember this. When we are solving a sum, we started with the first part, that is exponential. और exponential में मुझे मालूम पड़ गया कि x कभी, तुम x का देखो हम लोगों ने क्या लिया, मैंने x का वैल्यू नेगेटिव लिया, मैंने x का वैल्यू पॉजिटिव लिया, और मैंने x का वैल्यू 0 लिया. मतलब I am entitled to use any value of x. It can be positive, take fraction, take 1/2, 1/3, कुछ भी ले लो, take anything. So therefore I have understood that for e raised to x, my domain is going to be all real numbers. My domain is going to be all real numbers for e raised to x. This is the first part. फिर आता है ln. Now let me tell this to you. Whenever you have log x to the base e, we write it as ln x. Now some rules about log to the base e, to any base ln. सबसे पहले x will not be equal to 0 and x will never be negative. So for this sum, e है base मतलब it is greater than 1. Okay. So x cannot be 0 and x cannot be negative. log को ना negative समझता ही नहीं है. तो log ने क्या बोला, ठीक है मेरे को negative नहीं चाहिए और मेरे को 0 नहीं चाहिए. अगर negative नहीं चाहिए और 0 नहीं चाहिए, मतलब I have only one option, that x has to be greater than 0. मतलब x has to be positive. So in the first sum, that in the first part we took e raised to x. e raised to x में x बोलता है you can take any real number, कुछ भी ले लो चलेगा. ln क्या बोलता है, I can't take negative, I can't take 0, I can't take negative, I can't take 0. I can't take negative, I can't take 0. So since I can't take negative, I can't take 0, I can only take positive. तो इसका आंसर देखो क्या है, इसका आंसर आ गया है कि I can take positive real numbers. I can't take negative, I can't take 0. So I have got the answer as positive real numbers. First part is all real numbers. Second part बोलता है you can't take negative, you can't take 0. So you can only take positive numbers. Therefore my domain is all positive real numbers. Natural numbers भी नहीं, positive real numbers. So I've solved the first part, second part. Third part वापस आ गया है exponential. So if I write for third part, 5 raised to x square plus 2. I just told you guys that when it is exponential, x will belong to all real numbers. We just solved. x का कोई भी वैल्यू ले लो और जो स्क्वायर है, take any value of x, any value, you will get an answer. Take x as 0.1 चाहिए तो use a calculator, you'll get an answer. And if you get an answer, it means that you can use that value of x. So first part exponential, third part भी exponential ही है, 5 raised to x square plus 2. जैसे ही एक्सपोनेंशियल आ गया, you know that your domain is going to be all real numbers, because you put any value of x, you will get an answer, and if you get an answer for any value, it means that your domain is all real numbers. If you want to solve this, you can solve it. Does not make a difference, because ये अगर zero बन गया तो भी चल जाएगा. I am not worried about this. I am worried about the denominator. The third part का answer is this. Second part का answer is this. I am solving सबका individual domain, because last में when we plot, now I have to see the common part. Now comes the fourth part, and the fourth part is 2x square minus 11x plus 12 should not be equal to 0. 2x square minus 11x minus 12 should not be equal to 0. It means that 2x square minus, if you see, this is 12 times 2 is 24. So I know that I need 11. So all I have to do is I'll do 8x minus 3x plus 12 is not equal to 0. 2x, x minus 4 minus 3, x minus 4 not equal to 0. So 2x minus 3, x minus 4 should not be equal to 0. And I have understood that x cannot be equal to 3 by 2 and x cannot be equal to 4. Matlab in the denominator, I can use all values except this and this. It means that my domain here is, all real numbers except 3 by 2, 4. Here I can use all numbers, guys, except 3 by 2 and 4. Now let's plot. Now if I'm plotting, ये है माइनस इन्फिनिटी, ये है प्लस इन्फिनिटी. ओके, फर्स्ट आंसर इज ऑल रियल नंबर्स. ओके, नाउ सिंस फर्स्ट आंसर इज ऑल रियल नंबर्स, फर्स्ट का आंसर रहेगा, ये हो गया माइनस इन्फिनिटी, ये चला 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 प्लस इन्फिनिटी रहेगा. ये फर्स्ट पार्ट आंसर. First part is from minus infinity to plus infinity. This is the first part of the answer. ठीक है, I plotted this. Next is positive. So let's do one thing. बीच में I will take here. Let's take 0. Second part क्या बोल रहा है? All positive real numbers. Positive real numbers मतलब 0 include नहीं होगा guys. 0 include नहीं होगा. So I know that वो यहाँ से start होगा, वो यहाँ पे ख़त्म होगा, एंड इट विल बी पॉजिटिव रियल नंबर्स. यहाँ से स्टार्ट होके इट विल बी पॉजिटिव रियल नंबर्स. रिमेंबर दिस, इट विल बी पॉजिटिव रियल नंबर्स. तो 0 से इन्फिनिटी जाएगा, इट विल बी पॉजिटिव रियल नंबर्स फॉर द सेकेंड पार्ट. थर्ड पार्ट वापस रियल नंबर्स है, नो प्रॉब्लम एट ऑल. तो थर्ड पार्ट में वापस प्लॉट करता हूँ. थर्ड पार्ट में वापस प्लॉट करता हूँ. ये यहाँ से यहाँ तक आ गया, ये है यहाँ से यहाँ तक. दिस इज द थर्ड पार्ट. थर्ड पार्ट इज पॉजिटिव रियल नंबर्स. Third part is positive real numbers. Okay. Last part, I can use all real numbers except 3 by 2 and 4. तो हम लोग प्लॉट कर लेते हैं. यहाँ पे मैंने ले लिया से फॉर एग्जाम्पल यहाँ पे ले लिया 3 by 2, यहाँ पे ले लिया मैंने 3 by 2 और यहाँ पे ले लिया 4. नाउ आई हैव अंडरस्टूड कि 3 by 2 इंक्लूड नहीं होगा, 4 इंक्लूड नहीं होगा और इन्फिनिटी इंक्लूड नहीं होगा. और इन्फिनिटी इंक्लूड नहीं होगा. Okay, and obviously ये नहीं इंक्लूड होगा. Now if I plot, ये यहाँ से यहाँ तक जाएगा, ये यहाँ से यहाँ तक जाएगा और ये यहाँ से यहाँ तक जाएगा. And this is the graphical representation of everything. Now comes the most important part, that is the plotting. And if I'm plotting, I have understood that it will start from here. देखो ये यहाँ से स्टार्ट हो रहा है. Look at this. ये आ गया, यहाँ पे ब्रेक हो गया, यहाँ पे ब्रेक हो गया और यहाँ पे ख़त्म हो गया. तो it means that ये है मेरा first part of the shaded region. This is the second part of the shaded region. And this is the last part of the shaded region. So first part, second part and third part of the shaded region. Therefore, my domain would be सबसे पहले 0 to 3/2 not included, union 3/2 to 4 not included, union 4 to infinity. And this is my domain for the entire sum. What I have done is first, second, third. See, if you want to solve, you can solve this, but does not matter. वो 0 बनेगा तो भी चलेगा because वो numerator में. So solve the first part, I solve the second part, I solve the third part, and I solve the fourth part. And this is your entire sum. This is how you find the domain and range of all values. Next topic, modulus functions. C part, modulus function. Okay, modulus function. Modulus function is also known as absolute value function. Modulus function is also known as absolute value function. Which gives you the numerical value. Which gives you a numerical value also known as magnitude. Also known as magnitude. Which gives you the numerical value also known as magnitude. For example, if my function is y is equal to f of x, it is denoted by mod x. Now mod x is nothing but it has two conditions. It is positive x when x is greater than equal to 0, okay, and minus x is when x is negative. So it is the value when x is positive or greater than equal to 0, we take it as x, and if the x is, both the values can come. If I put 3 here, absolute value of 3 is 3 only. But if I put minus 3 here, absolute value of minus 3 is also 3, which is the absolute value function. For example, if I write something like mod of 5x minus 3. Say for example, this is the question given to you, mod of 5x minus 3. Now I have two options in this. Here I can explain it like this. सबसे पहले 5x minus 3 can be greater than equal to 0 or 5x minus 3 will be less than 0. If 5x minus 3 is greater than equal to 0, the 5x is greater than equal to 3. Therefore, x is greater than equal to 3 by 5. So, if I take any value of x that is greater than 3 by 5, my answer will be positive. If I take any value of x greater than 3 by 5, my answer will be taken as positive. If I remove the mod, it will become positive. अब यहाँ पे हो जाएगा 5x minus 3 is less than 0. Therefore, x will be less than 3 by 5. So, for all values of x less than 3 by 5, my absolute value will become, if I remove the mod, see, because if I remove mod, I have two options. I have to write the x value of x as plus minus x. So, if I have to remove this, I need to understand whether it is positive or negative. If I get x value as 10, 10 times 5 is 50. 50 minus 3 is 47. So answer is positive. Of course, if I take x ka value is 10, which is indeed greater than 3 by 5, my answer will give you a positive value. But if I take x ka value is 0, 0 minus 3, because if I remove mod, see if I remove mod, I have the luxury of writing it like this, plus minus 5x minus 3. Now if someone tells me I can't use both, I have to use only one value. I can either use positive or negative. So if I use any value of x less than 3 by 5, my answer will be negative. But if I use any value of x greater than 3 by 5, my answer will be positive. So whether in place of x plus and minus, you should write positive or negative. That all depends on what are the values of x that we are going to substitute. For example, let's take a question. We'll write a remark before that. And there are two remarks. Remark number 1. Mod of x is less than a means that x is less than, if I write x is less than plus minus a, it gives you the idea that minus a is less than x and less than a. This is how we write it. If x plus a, x minus a less than 0, obviously less than 0 matlab it will lie between those values. And we write that x belongs to minus a comma a. Remember this, if mod of x is less than a, this is what we get the answer as. And if mod of x is greater than a, it means that x is greater than plus minus a. It means that my first value is minus infinity to minus a, union a to infinity. This is the answer that I get if mod of x is greater than a. If someone tells me mod of x is greater than 10 matlab it will be minus infinity to minus 10 union 10 to infinity. If it is less than, now for example, let's write this example. Now someone tells us first example is mod of x is less than 10. I can directly write it as minus 10 less than x less than 10. This is the first sum. If someone tells us mod of x is greater than 10, the exact opposite of this, minus infinity to minus 10 union 10 to infinity. Minus infinity to minus 10 union 10 to infinity. And this is the answer. This is the very, 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 very important property that we need to remember, because we can directly use the answer in all our sums. Depending on this data, we have to find the value. Okay. Find the value of x. Okay. My question is mod of x minus 1 plus mod of 2x minus 3 is equal to 5. I have to find the value of x. And मैंने अभी बोला था कि mod of x always gives you two values. So I have to be very careful to understand what and how will I find the value of x. Now how to do these kind of sums? There are certain pointers. Point number 1. I will take the first bracket, I will equate to 0. I will take the second bracket, I will equate to 0. Okay. So I will get my turning points or the roots. I will get turning point or root. If I equate the first bracket to 0, can you tell me what is the value of x that I get? 1. If I equate the second bracket to 0, what is the value of x that I get? 3 by 2. I will make a number line. Okay. Step number 1 is I equated both the brackets. If there are 3 brackets, 4 brackets, equal to 0, you will get the turning points or critical points or the roots or x का value. सबको same ही value है. सबका अलग अलग नाम है, same ही चीज़ है. Now, can anyone tell me कि 1 और 3 by 2 में बड़ा term कौन सा है? So यहाँ पे आ गया 3 by 2. तो obviously अगर 3 by 2 बड़ा term है, तो 1 is the छोटा term. I have divided this into 3 parts. Now I have 3 sections. सबसे पहला section है where x is, this is section 1. Okay, section 1 ले लेते इसको. This is section 1 where x is greater than equal to 3 by 2. This is section 2. 1 is less than x less than 3 by 2. This is section 2. 1 is less than x less than 3 by 2. This is section 2 here. And section 3 will be x is less than equal to 1. This is the second part. No? I have converted this and I have satisfied the condition. Okay. Now see, I usually prefer everyone की यहाँ पे अगर मैंने एक बार इंक्लूड किया, हर टर्म को ना एक बार इंक्लूड करना पड़ेगा. एक काम करो, यहाँ पे इंक्लूड कर लो इसको, 1 को बीच में इंक्लूड कर लो, यहाँ पे इसको छेड़खानी नहीं करो. You can take 1 less than equal to 1 here also, that's not a problem. That's up to you, you can do that. Ab second part is this. I have divided into sections. See देखो sections बन गया. Divide in sections. Divide in sections का मतलब होता है first section, third section. यहाँ पे लिखता हूँ. First section is x is greater than equal to 3 by 2. Section B is 1 less than x less than equal to x less than 3 by 2. And third section is x is less than 1. So I have divided into 3 parts. Now comes the sum. Now look at this question. Okay. Most important part is here. When I solve this, we'll take section A. Guys, section A is x is greater than 3 by 2. Now, in your mind, suggest any value which is greater than 3 by 2. Any value of your choice. 2. Anything else? 5, 10, 15, 100, 1000. Take any number of your choice. Let's take a bigger number. चलो 10 ले लिया हमने. 10 minus 1. Assume किया x equal to 10. Okay, you can take any value, guys. Any value. You can take 2, 3, 4, 10, 100, 1000, anything. It has to be greater than equal to 3 by 2. 1.51 ले लो चाहिए तो. If I put x का value as 10, what is 10 minus 1? Is it positive or negative? Positive. If I take x का value as 10, 10 minus 1 will give you a positive value. Hence, mod निकाल के I will write it as positive. I always told you, whenever you remove mod, you have to replace it with positive or negative. So here the condition is x has to be greater than equal to 3 by 2. तो मैंने एक ऐसा नंबर ले लिया जो 3 by 2 से greater है. Greater तुम लोग 2 ले सकते हो, 3 ले सकते हो, मैंने 10 ले लिया. If I take x का value as 10, if I take x का value as 10, I got my first bracket as positive, plus. If I, in the second root, in second bracket, second mod, if I take x का value as 10, will I get a positive answer or a negative answer? I'll get a positive answer. So 2x minus 3 is equal to 5. Now guys, if I simplify this, I will get 3x minus 4 is equal to 5. And if 3x minus 4 is equal to 5, what is the value of x that I get? Therefore, I'll get x is equal to 3. Does x is equal to 3 satisfy? Is x greater than 3 by 2? Is this value greater than 3 by 2? Yes. Therefore, my first value of x that I have got is 3 by 2. Therefore, x is equal to 3 satisfies x is greater than equal to 3 by 2. Therefore, x is equal to 3 satisfies x is greater than equal to 3 by 2. The first part is A से आंसर मुझे एक value of x मिल गया. Now I'll take second part. Second part is 1 less than equal to x less than 3 by 2. Guys, suggest any value between 1 and 3 by 2. Suggest any value of x between 1 and 3 by 2. 1 and 1.5 के बीच में suggest any value. 1.2. Let's take x as 1 by 2. In the first bracket, if I take x की जगह 1 by 2, will it give me a positive answer or a negative answer? Positive. So I'll write x minus 1. In second part, if I substitute, will it give me a positive answer or negative answer? It will give you a negative answer, is equal to 5. And now if I satisfy this, if I solve this, x minus 2x will give you minus x, minus 1 plus 3, minus 1 plus 3 will give you 2 is equal to 5. Therefore, x is equal to 7. No, x is equal to 5 minus 3 is 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. X is equal to minus 3. Does x is equal to minus 3 lie between 1 and 3 by 2? So I'll write that x is equal to minus 3 does not satisfy 1 less than equal to x less than 3 by 2. Does not satisfy 1 less than equal to x less than 3 by 2. And the third part is x is less than 1. Now let's take any value x is less than 1. Say I'll take x is less than 0. Say x is equal to 0. If I substitute 0 in the first part, it will give me a negative answer. If I substitute 0 in the second part, it will give me a negative answer. And that will be equal to, I will equal to 5. If I solve this further, minus x minus 2x will give you minus 3x. 1 plus 3 will give you 4 is equal to 5. And x will become minus 1 by 3. And yes, it satisfies. Therefore, I will write x is equal to minus 1 by 3 satisfies x is less than 1. X is equal to minus 1 by 3 satisfies x is equal to 1. Therefore, the third value is x is equal to minus 1 by 3. And the first value is x is equal to 3. And these are the two values of x that can satisfy this equation. Please ask your doubts. Now, we start with graph of y is equal to x. Now, when I am plotting the graph of y is equal to x, there are certain things that I need to understand. सबसे पहले, अगर x पॉजिटिव है, y पॉजिटिव है. अगर x नेगेटिव है, y नेगेटिव है. x पॉजिटिव, y पॉजिटिव फर्स्ट क्वाड्रेंट. x नेगेटिव, y नेगेटिव थर्ड क्वाड्रेंट. एंड अगर x जीरो है तो y भी जीरो रहेगा. सो इफ x इज पॉजिटिव, y is positive, this gives rise to your first quadrant. If x is negative, y is negative, this gives rise to third quadrant. And अगर x zero है तो y zero. It means that my graph will be like this. If x is 1, y is 1, x is 2, y is 2, x is 3, y is 3, x is 4, y is 4, x is 5, y is 5, x is 6, y is 6, and x is 0, y is 0. This is the equation of a line that is passing through the origin, which is y is equal to x. This is equation of a line passing through the origin, and this is the equation of y is equal to x. This is the graph of y is equal to x. But this is the graph of y is equal to normal graph. वो तो हम लोग ऐसे ही बना सकते हैं. But if I use a small change, here I have to make a graph of y is equal to mod x. It means that x का value I can take positive or negative. But मुझे जो आंसर आएगा वो हमेशा पॉजिटिव होगा. Now see what I'm trying to tell you. I have the luxury of taking x as positive or x as negative. I can take x as positive or negative, but y will always be positive. So let's see, x will be positive, y will be positive, first quadrant. X will be negative, y will be negative, positive, second quadrant. And my graph will look something like this. My graph would look something like this. If this is y is equal to x, that is the first quadrant का. इसका exact mirror image will be this. And mod x का graph will always look like a V. Always. So if I take y is equal to mod x, I can take x as positive, I can take x as negative. I can take x as positive, I can take x as negative. So here x is positive, here x is negative. But my answer will always be positive. That is, value of y will always be positive. So remember this. For a mod function, graph will form a V at critical point. अब क्रिटिकल पॉइंट मतलब देखो जहाँ पे वो जीरो बन रहा है, देखो यहाँ पे देखो जीरो बन रहा है, तो अगर मैंने y इज इक्वल टू एक्स को इक्वल टू जीरो कर दिया तो y इज इक्वल टू जीरो एंड x इज इक्वल टू जीरो. दिस इज द क्रिटिकल पॉइंट. यहाँ पे ये यहाँ से आ रहा है क्रिटिकल पॉइंट पे और उसके बाद से इंक्रीज हो गया, डिक्रीज हो रहा है और उसके बाद इंक्रीज हो गया. So this is the graph. For a mod graph, it will always be a V. Remember this, for a mod graph, it will always be a V, an inverted function. If I change the question a little bit, say for example, graph of y is equal to mod of x minus 3. Can anyone tell me from which value will the graph start? यहाँ पे origin से start हो गया, यहाँ पे कौन से value से start होगा? It will start from 3. Very good. Because x minus 3 को अगर मैंने equal to 0 कर दिया, तो I've got x का value. X का value is what? 3. Now if you take any value greater than 3, it will give you a positive value. And if you get any value less than 3, it will give you a negative value. मतलब your graph, एक तो inverted graph रहेगा. It will be a V graph. So my graph would be like this. देखो ध्यान से. If this is your point, this is your point, okay? 3,0 ये point है. So my graph is going to be like this. ये ऐसे रहेगा, ठीक है? 3,0. अब if for me, if I take 3, if I take 2, 1, 0, whatever I take, x का value is 2, 1, 0, my answer is always going to be positive. It is going to be like this. It is always going to be like this. Remember this, okay? So this is the point that is going to be 3,0. एंड अगर मैंने y का वैल्यू 0 ले लिया, ये हो जाएगा 0. सॉरी, अगर मैंने y का वैल्यू 0 ले लिया, रिमेंबर दिस. कैन एनीवन टेल मी व्हाट विल हैपन इफ आई टेक y का वैल्यू 0? इफ आई टेक x, चलो एक काम करो, अगर मैंने x का वैल्यू 0 ले लिया तो दिस विल कम 0,3, एंड इफ आई टेक y का वैल्यू 0, इट विल कम 3,0. एंड दिस इज द ग्राफ of y is equal to mod of x minus 3. Y is equal to mod of x minus 3. Has everybody understood this? Please draw it. Now this is the graph that is given to us. Okay. This is the graph that is given to us. This is the graph that is given to us. First graph that we have to find is y is equal to mod of f of x. This is the graph that is given to us. That is the graph of y is equal to f of x. How will we draw a graph of y is equal to mod of f of x? Come on, tell me. Will it be the same? Will it be a little different? कुछ अलग रहेगा? What will be the changes? Tell me.
The negative parts of the graph will be removed.
Negative parts of the graph will be negative. मतलब?
The
Remove. Can you guys draw and show me? बोलो. Come on, everyone will try. How will you draw the graph of y is equal to mod of f of x? How will you attempt the graph of y is equal to f of x? Minus 1, minus 1. This is minus 1, minus 1. Yes. Come on. Tell me. Let's try to understand. Let's take all the points. Okay, first point. We'll start with understanding the points. The point is 1, 2. इसका मतलब देखो क्या होता है. If x is 1, y is 2. In other words, if x is 1, f of x is 2. मतलब f of 1 is 2. So the point is, if x is 1, my f of 1 is equal to 2. That's why they have given mod of f of x. Mod of f of x मतलब the y का mod value. So if I take the first point, my f of 1 is 2 and इसका mod will also be 2. So the positive part will not change at all. The negative part will change. Now what do you understand by the negative part changing? देखो ध्यान से यहाँ पे. Let me explain this to you. Where x is minus 1, you can't do anything about x. They have asked for mod of f of x. So f of x का value is given as minus 1. And अगर मैंने इसका mod ले लिया, mod of f of x is absolute value of minus 1, which is 1. So your point will become minus 1, 1. Minus 1, 1 will come in the second quadrant. इसका exact mirror image बनेगा. This won't change, this won't change, this won't change because y is positive. F of x is nothing but y. This is also positive. This is the only part that is negative. So my diagram would look something like this. My diagram would look something like this. This is same. It will become like this. This will become like this. ये देखो, ये जो नीचे है, ये देखो, ये जो नीचे है, ये एकदम ऊपर हो जाएगा. It will become like this. And ये यहाँ तक आएगा और फिर ऐसा बन जाएगा. So this is the diagram that it will look like. And ये तो same ही रहेगा. So the first part is not changing at all. 1, 2 will not change. We just proved here कि -1 बिकम 1, देखो ये चेंज नहीं होएगा, ये तो सेम ही पॉइंट है, जो भी पॉइंट रहेगा ये भी सेम ही रहेगा, ये चेंज नहीं होएगा. अगर तुम लोग को पॉइंट प्लॉट करना है ना, आई जस्ट टेल दिस टू सी दिस, ये पॉइंट इज नथिंग बट 0, -1. If you plot this point also, this is 0, 2. Nothing is going to make a difference. This is the graph. And here, f of x, देखो ना मैंने f of x का वैल्यू ले लिया, f of x is -1. f of x is nothing but your y coordinate. इसका y coordinate माइनस है, अगर मैंने y coordinate का मॉड्यूलस ले लिया तो that will become positive. And my point -1, -1 has become -1, 1, which is in the second quadrant. तो exact 180 डिग्री फ्लिप हो गया. And जो third quadrant था, it has become the second quadrant. Has everybody understood this? Okay. If you have understood this, you will tell me the graph for y is equal to f of mod x. Please start. Y is equal to f of mod x. Come on. Y is equal to f of mod x. Come on, I want everyone guys to try this. If I draw, if I take x का value as positive, let's take the negative value. If I take x as -1, it will become f of mod of -1, which will become f of 1. And I know that f of 1 का value, मतलब when x is equal to 1, इसका value is equal to 2. I put x का value as -1. Then I substitute this question. So y will become f of mod of -1. Mod of -1 is nothing but f of 1. And f, according to the graph, when x is equal to 1, here if I put x ka value as 1, my y becomes 2. So my point has become -1, 2. -1, 2 is which quadrant? Second quadrant. Exactly. So if it is in the second quadrant, ये मेरा first graph है, देखो. It's going to be like this. This is the graph. That's it. It's the mirror image of the first quadrant. It will be the mirror image of first quadrant because we just proved ये है मेरा point 1, 2 and this will become 1, -2. This will become -1, 2. So for every value of x, it can be either positive or negative. But my y will be positive. If I take, अभी समझो ये point ले लेते, random point लो, random point. Imagine this point is 2, 1. I'm just giving a random sum, 2, 1 if I've taken this point. If this point is 2, 1, if this point is 2, 1, now इसका exact opposite रहेगा -2, 1. Now let's imagine if I take x as -2. If I take x as -2, y will become f of mod of -2, which will become y of f of 2. And guys, f of 2 यहाँ पे क्या रहेगा, f of 2 नहीं 1, -2, 1 ना, f of -2 will become f of 2. Y will become what? 1. 1, 2, 2, 1 ले लिया मैंने, हाँ ठीक है 2, 1 ले लिया. If I take the exact opposite, इस यहाँ पे ले लेते हैं, चलो एक काम करो, यहाँ पे ले लेते हैं. Let's take one more point. Say for example, एक यहाँ पे point ले लेते हैं. Let's take this point. Don't take that point. Let's take this point. This point will be ये 1 से कम रहेगा. देखो ये 1 है. This is -1, 0. तो इसको अगर मैंने 0.5 ले लिया, -0.5. Imagine x is -0.5 और y का वैल्यू कुछ भी रह सकता है. y का वैल्यू भी -0.5 ले लो. अब समझो मैंने x का वैल्यू ले लिया -0.5. इफ आई टेक x का वैल्यू -0.5, ये पॉजिटिव हो जाएगा. y का वैल्यू पॉजिटिव हो जाएगा, मतलब दिस विल फ्लिप, इट विल कम हियर, बट इट विल बी द एग्जैक्ट मिरर इमेज ऑफ दिस वैल्यू. कैसे किया मैंने? आई टुक x का वैल्यू -1. व्हेन आई टुक x का वैल्यू -1, आई सबस्टिट्यूट f of 1. f of 1 का वैल्यू क्या आ गया? देखो यहाँ पे है f of 1 का वैल्यू. When x is equal to 1, y का value 2 हो गया, and this has become my coordinate as 1 minus 1 comma 2. 1 comma 2 का exact mirror image is minus 1 comma 2. It's the same value, and therefore it has become an inverted image. Exactly the inverted image. जो भी first quadrant है, कैसे मालूम पड़ेगा? Y is equal to f of mod x. Your only x is changing because mod के अंदर का x can be either positive or negative. Y will not change. Y will not change because y हमेशा positive आंसर ही देखेगा. mod के अंदर क्या हो रहा है वो x के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. mod क्या सॉल्विंग के बाद वो वैल्यू y के सामने आता है. तो x कैन बी नेगेटिव, x कैन बी पॉजिटिव, x कैन बी जीरो. y को फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता है. y बोलेगा व्हाट इज द फाइनल आंसर. फाइनल आंसर विल नॉट बी नेगेटिव, एंड सिंस फाइनल आंसर विल नॉट बी नेगेटिव, my answer will be in the first and the second quadrant. Has everybody understood this? You will take this sum as homework. Y is equal to mod of f of x. This is the homework. ये तुम लोग घर पे ट्राई करोगे. Y is equal to mod of f of x. ठीक है. This is the sum that you will try at home. Now, one question. Find the domain and range of mod of f of mod of f of mod x है वो. mod of f of mod x. Sorry, this is mod of f of mod x. Mod of f of mod x. Okay, now find the domain and range of y is equal to 1 upon mod x. Come on, tell me the domain and range. What will be the domain for this? Can anyone tell me what is the domain for this? Y is equal to 1 upon mod x. Bolo. What will be the domain for this question?
All rational numbers.
All rational numbers. What is the basic rule of math?
Except 0.
Denominator should not be equal to 0. So mod of x should not be equal to 0. मतलब x should not be equal to 0. मतलब my domain is what?
All rational numbers except 0.
Rational numbers नहीं. All real numbers except 0. Why rational numbers? Irrational number भी आ सकता है. All rational numbers except 0. All real numbers except 0. Let's find the range. Now tell me what will be the range. What do we do for range? Can anyone tell me? So you will get mod x is equal to 1 by y. Tell me what is the range. Bolo. All real numbers except 0 is incorrect. All real numbers. Positive real numbers. mod x है तो इसका आंसर हमेशा क्या रहेगा? पॉजिटिव. मुझे पता है दैट y विल नॉट बी इक्वल टू 0, एंड सिंस y इज नॉट इक्वल टू 0, ये y कभी नेगेटिव बन ही नहीं पाएगा बिकॉज क्या है यहाँ पे? mod x. तो माई रेंज वुड बी positive real numbers which can also be written as 0 to infinity. This is your domain and range. My domain is all real numbers except 0, but my range would be from 0 to infinity. Range would be from 0 to infinity. My domain would be all real numbers. My range would be from 0 to infinity because ये जो mod x है, mod x कभी नेगेटिव दिखेगा ही नहीं क्योंकि वो खुद सराउंडेड बाय mod साइन है. वो बोला कि मेरा फाइनल आंसर कभी नेगेटिव हो ही नहीं सकते. mod is nothing but absolute value. Absolute value will always be positive. Hence the answer for this will be from 0 to infinity. 0 भी नहीं बनेगा बिकॉज अगर y 0 बन गया तो बेसिक रूल ऑफ मैथमेटिक्स सेटिस्फाई नहीं होगा. नेगेटिव कभी बनेगा नहीं. तो it will have positive real numbers. The next topic, the D part, is called as the Signum function. Signum function is an extension of your mod function, you can say. Okay, Signum function. Now Signum function is denoted by SGN. SGN. Now imagine you have y is equal to SGN x, which has three conditions. या तो x पॉजिटिव होगा, या तो x 0 होगा, या तो x नेगेटिव होगा. सिग्नम फंक्शन मतलब या तो x पॉजिटिव होगा, या तो x 0 होगा, या तो x नेगेटिव होगा. प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द फंक्शन पार्ट. ये पूरा 2 साल अपने को यही करना है. y is equal to SGN x, that is signum x. We always write it like this, SGN x. Now x can either be positive or x will be equal to 0 or x will be equal to negative. Same like mod function. मॉड भी क्या बोलता है, तीन ही आंसर आ सकता है. x जो मॉड के अंदर x है, या तो वो पॉजिटिव रहेगा, या तो वो नेगेटिव रहेगा, या तो वो 0 रहेगा. If my x is greater than 0, that this, if my x is positive, my answer will be 1. If my x का value is equal to 0, my answer will be 0. And if my x का value is less than 0, my answer will be -1. अगर किसी ने पूछा what is SGN 100, my answer is 1. If someone asks me what is SGN minus 10,000, -1. And if someone tells me what is SGN 0, my answer is going to be 0. तीन ही कंडीशन है, तीन ही वैल्यूज है, तीसरा चौथा वैल्यू आएगा ही नहीं. दिस इज योर सिग्नम फंक्शन. नाउ फॉर एग्जांपल, अब हाउ व्हेन आई टोल्ड यू दैट SGN फंक्शन इज नथिंग बट मॉड फंक्शन, ऐसे आता है ये mod x upon x. SGN function is nothing but it is mod x upon x. And mod x upon x, as I told you कि सबसे पहले here we take x is not equal to 0. But अगर मैंने x का वैल्यू पॉजिटिव लिया तो पॉजिटिव x upon x will give you the answer as 1. Negative x upon x will give you the answer as -1. मतलब if x is greater than 0, my answer is 1. If x is less than 0, my answer is -1. And if x is equal to 0, my answer is 0. This is the joining point of signum function and your absolute value function, that is the modulus function. अब देखो modulus function मुझे पता है कि it will form a V always. signum function क्या बोलता है? signum function बोलता है बहुत easy है. डोमेन ऑफ सिग्नम फंक्शन मुझे देख के मालूम पड़ रहा है. डोमेन क्या रहेगा? ऑल रियल नंबर्स. तुम लोग एक्स का कोई भी वैल्यू लो, कोई भी वैल्यू लो एक्स का, तीनों में से एक आंसर आएगा. कोई भी वैल्यू ऑफ योर चॉइस. इफ यू टेक नेगेटिव वैल्यू, माई आंसर बी -1. इफ यू टेक पॉजिटिव वैल्यू, माई आंसर बी 1. इफ यू टेक 0, माई आंसर इज 0. बट रेंज क्या रहेगा? कोई बताएगा मेरे को? इट कैन आइदर बी -1 और 0 और 1. तीन ही आंसर पॉसिबल है. y का तीन ही आंसर आएगा. अगर x पॉजिटिव है तो y का पहला आंसर क्या रहेगा? 1. अगर x नेगेटिव है तो y का क्या वैल्यू क्या रहेगा? -1. और x 0 है तो y का वैल्यू क्या रहेगा? 0. तो माई डोमेन से डायरेक्टली गिवन द सिग्नम का डोमेन. सिग्नम का डोमेन इज ऑल रियल नंबर. सिग्नम का रेंज इट्स आइदर -1 और इट इज आइदर +1 और इट इज आइदर 0. और चौथा पार्ट रहेगा ही नहीं. तो as I was discussing about the graph, as I was discussing about the graph, so देखो ध्यान से, as I was discussing about the graph, guys, this is your positive x. Positive x values. These are your positive x values. These are your negative x values. ठीक है? Because देखो ना दो कंडीशन है, x पॉजिटिव x नेगेटिव, and this is ये अपना दोस्त 0. I will take this as +1. I will take this as minus 1. If my x is 3, my value will be 1. If my x is 4, my value will be 1. If my x is infinity, not infinity but 1000, it will be 1. इसका मतलब है for all the positive values of x, my answer will be 1. y का value 1 रहेगा. मतलब my graph will be like this. This will be the answer. This is the graph. Okay. ये मेरा इसका ग्राफ है. एंड अगर नेगेटिव है तो ये मेरा ग्राफ है. और ये है when x is 0 my y is 0, and this is the actual graph of Signum function. Signum function बोलता है for all values of x this is going to be the answer, for all negative values of x this is going to be the answer, and when x is equal to 0 y is equal to 0. Signum का domain is all real numbers. Signum का range is -1, 0, 1. So this is the example. Along with the example, the graph of Signum function, and Signum is nothing but close relation of modulus function. When modulus function, अगर if x is positive, my answer will be 1. If x is negative, my answer is going to be -1. Please start writing this. Now, my question. Y is equal to SGN of SGN x. Now, here there will be three conditions where x will be greater than 0, where x will be equal to 0, and x will be less than 0. So y is equal to SGN of x greater than 0. SGN of y is equal to SGN of SGN x greater than 0. Matlab this will become y is equal to SGN of, I know that signum of x greater than 0 will always be 1, and signum of 1 is going to be 1. If I take y is equal to signum of 0, I know that signum of 0 is 0, so y is equal to 0. And the last part is y is equal to signum of x less than 0, y is equal to signum of -1, and my y is equal to -1. These are the three conditions, because we know that if my signum is greater than 0, if my x is greater than 0, my signum of that value will always be 1. तो ये पूरा 1 हो गया. जैसे ही 1 हो गया, again signum of 1 is nothing but 1, because this value is greater than 0, this value is equal to 0, and this value is less than 0. Have you guys understood this? No problem. Please write this down, and we'll stop for the day.